Listen, the car scene goes through a lot of different phases. In fact, most of them are pretty bad, especially now where it seems people do anything for the most insignificant amount of attention. I want to share a few trends, old and new, that just need to stop. Starting with drag tires on cars that don't need them. I'm starting to see more and more cars popping up. With drag tires, and of course cars that spin every time they tap the gas need them, but cars that look like they're fresh off the lot don't. The only thing you did was add a cold air intake. Stop it. Like, I hope you get where I'm coming from. I just don't see the point in putting slicks on something like a BRZ. Then those same people drive on them every day like they're normal tires. Have you ever seen those videos where, I literally don't even know how to ask this, those videos where one car is driving and then stops because 4 other cars are in front of it, and all of a sudden the 4 cars start driving towards the one car and revving at it like a Disney bully or something, and then the single car reverses away like it's a sad puppy dog? Or the original variation when one car comes flying around the corner and is met by another car, and then the exact same scenario plays out? Yeah, sure, I mean, if I was 6 years old watching this in Fast and the Furious, I'd let it slide. But we're adults. Why are we role-playing with the homies? To me, it's worse than takeovers, which I'll get to. You'd have to hold me at gunpoint before I ever even considered doing that. You could ask me if I wanted to bring back slavery or make a video like that, and I'm picking slavery every time. Now it's gotten to the point I don't even open TikTok or Instagram in public anymore because I don't want anybody that's walking by to look over my shoulder and think that my feed is a reflection of me. Remember when people were pulling up to gas stations to buy a slushie just so that they could walk outside and throw it at their car? Saying that out loud just doesn't even make sense. Drew Peacock says clout is a drug, and I think it's time we all have an intervention. It's one thing to vandalize other people's property, but to vandalize your own? Just why? You're literally the only one losing in this scenario. They basically made a donation to the gas station because they paid for the slushie and didn't drink it. Then they're the one that has to clean it before they drive anywhere? Am I missing where this made sense? Please tell me if I am. Something I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough is straight pipes. People have gotten too comfortable and think everything can be straight piped and sound good. Straight pipes are a perfectly reasonable option over buying a complete exhaust if you just want the car a little bit louder, but that's on certain cars. Now with everybody trying to become a car enthusiast, people want to make every car a race car. It's like once people start learning the smallest stuff about cars, they go through that phase where they're oblivious to everything that's bad to the rest of the world. V6, anything in my mind doesn't need to be straight pipe. It's always going to be raspy, especially V6 muscle cars. Every time you step on the gas, it's like you're stabbing me in my ears and giving me the middle finger. V6s need a little extra love than V8s. It would sound much nicer with just a muffled delete and leaving the resonators on. I've seen a straight pipe Prius, and I contemplated sitting on a live grenade. Alex Martini's video spoke on forged carbon being played out, which made me think about the people who take it one step further and get forged carbon wraps. To me, it's flat out ugly, but it's not so bad when it's on trim pieces. It's the kind of thing where because it's a pattern, too much of it makes you want to throw up. I've seen people with the hood, roof, trunk, and parts of the bumper wrapped in forged carbon, and it makes me want to rip my eyeballs out. It's so different, but people overdo it and end up ruining it for everybody else. Just like Burble and Flame tunes. They're cool and I don't have a problem with them, don't get me wrong, but it's getting watered down. It's like every car has them now. Every meet you go to, it's a 80% chance that at least 12 of the cars have them. And again, I don't hate it, but the whole thing loses its charm when every time somebody drives away, it sounds like a shootout. And after the second time, it's just annoying. One trend that was less offensive, just kind of dumb to me, was when people took the doors off their cars and would just drive around so people could record it. It started with Chargers and Challengers. People already hated us, then they went and did that and just added fuel to the fire. And right when I thought it was dead and gone, I see these Mustangs driving around with their doors off. It was like cars were cosplaying as Jeeps and nobody saw it as a safety issue for some reason. It only takes one bird that's having a bad day and now you're in the hospital explaining how it got lodged in your skull, while the doctors are trying not to laugh at you the longer the story goes on. Thankfully, this didn't last long and you can all let your kids play outside again. Takeovers. The favorite excuse is that they've been around for years. Yes and no. Illegal street activity has always been a thing, of course, but to the degree it's at now is just stupid. I don't see them as part of the community because somebody who actually puts hours of hard work into their car isn't going to turn around and throw it in a place where it's going to get wrecked. And what's up with the laser pointers? Growing up, the only thing I ever saw green lasers on is guns, or when a soldier was calling in an airstrike, neither of which I would want to see while I'm spinning in the pit, already trying not to hit people. I just don't think the smartest people go to these things. I'm convinced people run into the middle of them just because they want to get hit. Obviously, because if they didn't, they'd just stay on the sidelines. I've seen some people get sent to the moon by a fender, and when they hit the ground, it sounds like their body took a screenshot. Takeovers are dumb. If you disagree, cry me a river. I'm interested to hear what trends you think need to be wiped from the earth. Anyways, love you. Bye.